Hello, everybody. People are asking for my impression and my feelings and my emotions about my trip to Brazil. So we decided to do this series of narrations and about my experience in Brazil. Today, I want to talk about my experience with Brazil and her senators. I've spoken about my encounter with Brazil and her president, and my encounter with Brazil and her ministers. And now I'm talking about my encounter with Brazil and her senators. The first senator I met is the senator that sat beside me on the stage on at Adelaja convention. And this man was the man that really tried his best to make sure that I got my visa to Brazil. This man is the head of the party that nominated the president to be the president of Brazil, the present president, and he's also the man that took the president to Israel to baptize him in the River Jordan before he became the president. And so this man is very influential in Brazil. He himself was a former presidential candidate in Brazil, and now is the head of the party, and also is a senator. So he's a very committed Christian. He's an elder and assistant pastor in his church. And later on the next Monday, he took me to his church, and I had the privilege of speaking in that church, but we'll talk about that later on. The other senator I also met at the Adelaja convention. He's a very great gentleman. He's been there as a senate for several years. Brazilian politicians like football. So I'm going to talk about the invitation I got from the governor to visit a football match over there. But at that football match, I was there with all these senators. There are so many Brazilian senators at the football match. And so you see all their photographs and their pictures, both in the football match and the convention in the church. And it's just wonderful to see a country where, so many people are Christians. I mean, like I said, out of 400 or so senators, there are 100 of them are Christians. That is unbelievable. I mean, born-again Christians, full gospel. And that's the kind of country we want. That's why Brazil is so crucial and important in the world, to be a picture and a model and an example of godliness for all the nations of the world. Viva Brazil. May God bless Brazil. Okay, let me show you some photographs of my experience with Brazil and our senators. Now, let me start with this senator here. He's sitting with me at Adelaja conference. He's the man that was the presidential candidate for Brazil, but he's also now the head of a party, and that party supported the president, Bolsonaro, or the president of Brazil right now, to become the president. And he's the legendary man that took the president to Israel for baptism. And he's the man that took the governor also to Brazil for baptism. And everybody takes to baptism in the rivers Jordan, they got some miraculously elected, maybe because they are willing to testify about God. And then this same man is a pastor, he's an assistant pastor in his church. So he took me to his church. You see that historic church? That's one of the oldest and most famous churches in Brazil, Pentecostal Assemblies of God Church. That's me and him in the church, and that's him sitting on the stage while I'm preaching. So that's that particular senator. He's coming to see me here in Ukraine by the grace of God. And then there's another senator that was very, very friendly with me. He was there at the Adelaja conference, and then we went to the football stadium together, and several other senators there. There's another one that, we're always doing guy together. I was wearing the jersey, and he is not quite wearing the jersey, but something similar to the jersey. And then so many of all these senators were taking pictures together in the stadium. Beautiful, beautiful people, beautiful Brazil. It's a blessed country, no doubt.